Hello friends, have you ever wondered when you're going to make that last and final child support payment? Well then, this video is for you. For those of you that are on the hook for child support, we will discuss the different situations in which your child support payments may finally come to an end. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. Now, before we discuss how child support comes to an end, we need to review how child support orders are usually initiated or entered to begin with. First situation is when there's a divorce. If the couple is married and they have children, they will divide their assets and liabilities, but they will also have to address the issues regarding the children. So a parenting plan will be formulated, and inside that parenting plan, the parties will try to agree to child support. If they can't agree to child support in the parenting plan, then the court will determine the child support amount based upon the child support guidelines or the parties' finances. The second situation is what's called a paternity suit. Some jurisdictions call it a petition to determine paternity, others call it a petition to determine parentage. In this type of lawsuit, the parties are not married, but they have a child in common. So what happens is one of the parties will open up a paternity suit. As part of that paternity suit, they will be requesting child support. The child support will be entered in a parenting plan or a subsequent court order. The third situation in which you typically see a child support order entered is what's called a Title IV child support case. The Title IV of the Social Security Act, it's a federal law, establishes a program for child support enforcement. Essentially what happens is a state agency, they will initiate a child support suit on behalf of the custodian parent. This is usually initiated after the custodian parent tries to apply for some sort of public assistance, either like food stamps or some sort of governmental insurance program. Since the state believes that the other parent, who may not be involved in the child's life, should be financially responsible for that child, they will start a child support proceeding on behalf of the custodial parent. Those are the three typical situations in which child support orders are entered. You should check your local jurisdiction to see how specifically child support orders are entered. Once a child support order is entered, the next question is, how's it going to get paid? Well, usually it's paid either through what in Florida they call an income withholding order. They may call it something different in different jurisdictions, but essentially what happens is whenever you get paid, it gets automatically deducted. If there's no income withholding order, then the parties are going to have to pay child support directly to the other party. When is child support paid? It's usually paid bi-weekly or monthly, depending upon the person who is paying the child support, what their payment schedule is at work. What's interesting is that the Title IV child support enforcement cases also provide for the interception of tax refunds, garnishment of wages, and other enforcement mechanisms. So if you have a Title IV case, watch out, because they may be able to garnish your wages and taxes. Now let's talk about when child support comes to an end. Remember that each jurisdiction is different, each state is different, so I invite you to look at the child support statute of your particular state to determine when child support comes to an end over by you. In Florida, I like to categorize it into three different scenarios in which child support either terminates for sure, may terminate, or never terminates. So let's talk about the first scenario, and that is when child support terminates for sure. The first instance is when a minor child turns 18 and they have graduated high school. However, in Florida and in some other states, if the child is still in high school at the age of 18 and has not yet graduated, child support may continue until that child graduates high school or turns 19, whichever comes first. The third instance in which child support terminates is when the parties agree that it will terminate at a subsequent date after the child turns 18 or 19 or some other age. And usually this relates to the parties agreeing to support the child for college or tuition, room and board, and other financial assistance after the child has become an adult. These situations are a little bit more rare, but the parties sometimes agree to provide financial assistance after high school. And then the final situation when child support terminates is obviously the most sad and devastating, and that would be if the minor child passes away. All right, let's talk about the situations in which child support may terminate, and that is when a minor child emancipates, when a minor child gets married, or when a child joins the armed forces or military. But an appropriate pleading or motion must be filed. Now, let's talk about situations in which child support does not terminate. One is temporary and one is more permanent. And when it comes to the temporary one, it means if you have more than one child and the child support orders for the elder children terminates, that doesn't mean that you stop paying child support. That means that you got to continue to pay child support until the last child reaches one of the situations in which child support terminates or may terminate. So don't be slick. The more serious situation is when child support is getting paid to a child who is a dependent because of a physical or mental incapacity that began prior to the age of majority. When the parties have a child in this situation, then child support could continue indefinitely, meaning that child support does not terminate. So what happens when you finally make it to the finish line and you're finally going to make your last child support payment? Are you good? Well, it depends. If your final judgment or child support order has an end date for child support, then you're good. You're good to go. However, if your child support order or your final judgment does not specify when your child support is supposed to end, then you gotta take a little extra step. You gotta file an appropriate petition or pleading in court so that you can get a court order that terminates or abates your child support obligation. Remember, we did a whole video on what happens to you if you fail to pay your child support, so don't do that. And prior to concluding here, we gotta have a little bit of a reality check. Remember, they're your kids, so you're probably going to be paying for them for life, meaning that they're probably gonna be on your payroll one way or the other for a very long time, if not forever. Anyway, we would really appreciate all of you who have these types of child support issues to look us up on www.segarralawfirm.com. We have offices in Miami and Orlando, Florida. Se habla español. Do us a favor and like this video. Subscribe to the Divorce Broadcast and share this video with all of you who keep hearing that question from your friends, family, and close associates of, when am I going to make that last child support payment?